Hey, look which one I got. Look what I got.
Here, Elizabeth, go choose a pretty color that you like.
Welcome to Watch Like a Kid.
A podcast where we watch your kid shows so you don't have to.
We are your hosts, Diane and Gabriele.
So come, be a kid with us. Hello, Gabby.
Hi, Diane.
Welcome to Watch Like a Kid. Do I even want to know what
I told her to dress like a 14-year-old boy from the Bronx.
Yeah.
Is this her interpretation?
Which is so funny because I gave her this little corduroy jacket thing.
She did.
Because I said it made me look like a 12-year-old boy. But when she put it was like a Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants thing, but not in a good way. Whereas when she put it on, she looked amazing.
So
She
cool.
looked so Brooklyn cool, like chill, like who is she? Like artist? Does she do pottery or something? And then when I put it on, I'm like, have you seen my mommy? Like, I'm lost. But now I needed it back for today.
And honestly, I think it's working.
I'm sorry though, Gabby, you don't look like a 12-year-old boy.
I don't. I am a church girl, and as we'll get into it, it'll all make sense because today we are covering Vampires versus the Bronx.
I assigned this one to Gabby to watch because we're trying to watch some good spooky new films we haven't seen or just came out kind of films and shows. And when I read that, I was like, one of us has to cover it.
We live in New York City, so
and I'm trying to get Gabby to like a little more Halloween-y things.
It's not gonna happen, okay? I am church girl.
But this one seemed like it's like it said it was a horror comedy.
Yes.
So that's why I was like, Gabby, you take this one.
And here's the thing, I can handle monsters better than I can handle like a lot of other like horror stuff. And I actually have a big argument that monster people and horror people are two different people.
Totally different, yeah.
Different people.
That's true. It's like when the different kind of scary that you like.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it's different.
Like I don't like super realistic, like that could happen to me scary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I can do like demons crawling over the walls.
No, you better not have demons.
Gabby's out for that.
No, because that feels realistic to me.
I will say some of the like we were talking about this before we started filming. Some of the religious scary movies seem like a little more plausible than it should be.
A little too real. I was telling her about Midnight Mass because we were talking about well, never mind. I don't want to spoil it for the people who haven't seen Midnight Mass. Well, it's been a while. So what are you doing?
Why was I only just hearing about that? She was like, have you seen Midnight Mass? And I'm like, no, I'm not Catholic. I'm not going to Mass.
I loved it. It's so interesting because I'm like, I don't do horror, and then I'm gonna sit and watch Midnight Mass. I don't know who I am. I
love that.
I don't know.
We love contradiction.
It's like it's a case by case thing. You know, you weigh it and you're like, can I do this?
She's not a hypocrite. She's one of those cool artsy contradictions,
right?
Like in an indie movie. You know,
yeah.
She's like a John Green character.
There's an exception to every rule, baby. There's an exception to every rule.
Is that the case for this movie? Are you a demon church girl, or like are you?
What do you mean a demon?
I don't know. I just imagine in scary movies and stuff, like the like little like church girls and stuff end up being like possessed.
No. I am not possessed. There's no possession in this movie. Thankfully, I would have turned it off. We'd be like, sorry, I can only cover the first 45 minutes.
I can do vampires, draining blood, daylight, wood and stakes. I got chopsticks in my purse. Like, I can do this all day, but I draw the line.
No, because here's the thing. Vampires are very vulnerable. Like, there's a lot of ways you can kill a vampire.
That's true. I feel like out of any monster, if any monster were to be real, in real life, I feel like vampires we got him. We got
him. Freaking just open up the freaking windows in the daytime. It doesn't take a lot.
And I feel like werewolves would be the ones that could, like, adjust to normal life the best. Like, we could let them slide.
We can let them
because
slide.
they're just once. Every full moon.
Yeah, they're just...
Other than that, they're normal people with
fine.
just, like, some extra strength and, like, hot bodies.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like zombies...
It's a no for me.
We're going down.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going down.
Sugar, we're going down swinging.
So let's get into this movie.
Yes.
I loved it, first of all. So this was like probably, I would say for like a younger teens kind of movie.
Okay.
There wasn't anything, not that like older teens couldn't enjoy it, but I do think if you're looking for something that your younger teens want to watch on Halloween, this could be a fun one.
Is it like a good intro to horror, like an intro to scary, but like
I would say it is, because they do a very good job of like, first it feels more like a metaphor, which is my favorite type of horror. If I do encounter horror, I love for it to like speak to what we're actually afraid of, instead of just like we're afraid of vampires. It's like, what are we actually afraid of? So in this movie, it's like they're basically like gentrification and like all this stuff. So what's going on is this company, what's it called? Real estate. This real estate company is coming in and basically gentrifying their neighborhood. And so they're like losing their like salons and their bodegas and all this stuff. But it's like in a monster way, right? So they're like, oh, there's all these people missing and we don't know where they went, and it's just like really weird.
I did see the trailer before I sent it to you. And I do remember seeing like the like kids are walking around and they're like, oh, it's gotten bad, or like it's over when we see like a white woman with a canvas toe, and then like they round a corner and there she is, and it's like for them it's like a jump scare where they're like, oh my god,
they're like, are you lost? She's like, why does everyone keep saying that? It's really funny. So no, we open up the movie. I'm gonna give a little bit of the movie, so if you don't want to be super spoiled, don't super watch this. But we open up the movie and it's like Zoe Saldana.
Oh, what? She's in it?
It's Zoe Saldana.
Why are we not marketing our girlies better, people? Can we just pause for that? Like, why are we not... That's kind of like when we covered the SpongeBob movie and Wanda Sykes just walked in. Right. And I remember I pointed at Wanda? Wanda Sykes? So did you do the same thing?
I did, but like quietly, because I didn't want to be wrong, because here's the thing. I'm really bad at celebrities, and Zoe has a look-alike.
Yes, I was trying to remember her name.
Yes. And I was like, if it's that woman, I'm gonna look stupid. Because I was watching something with the friends that I was watching it with. I thought this one guy was this guy that was in Broad City, and it wasn't him. And I was like, let me not embarrass myself again. Shout out to Broad City.
I feel like Broad City should have had like a little mini movie or something where they were in...
Not too late.
A Halloween horror movie. They would do great with vampires. They would do great.
It's so funny you said that, because so What We Do in the Shadows is a
Why
vampire.
are we not covering that?
Because it's for adults. What We Do in the Shadows is for adults.
Okay.
And but I was watching that. We were watching that because we were like on a vampire kick. So we watched that after watching Vampires versus the Bronx. And the humor felt so much to me like Broad City humor. And I literally was like, they should have done a mashup, because that is so funny. That would have been so fun. I mean, I think that there are different times, unfortunately. Like, What We Do in the Shadows is going into its final season, and Broad City has been done for a while.
You know what I imagine would be an amazing... Have you seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Mm-hmm. I've seen like a couple episodes.
You know how like every year they have like a Halloween episode that's like a competition for like a Halloween trophy or whatever, and like weird things happen? I think it would have been an amazing crossover if they were like doing their weird little schemes on Halloween night at Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and then the two chicks from Broad City somehow had a little...
Because here's the thing. What We Do in the Shadows, they're in Staten Island, so sometimes they're in Manhattan. I think here is our proposition. If you make a sitcom based in New York City, just have the Broad City girls be in an episode.
Yeah.
Just run into them.
Just make it canon.
Like, just run into them.
And they could just be playing themselves, and they just no, we don't even need context.
We don't need context. Literally, you could literally be going to a freaking spin class, and one of them is in there, and they just like talk, and they're themselves, but they're themselves.
They're like extras.
Yes,
and we need Easter eggs.
Yes,
of them
because then it feels like these worlds are all in the same world. Like that would just be.
I think we should. They should be walking around in Sex and the City.
I don't know.
They should be. Carrie's having like a big moment. She's wearing like the most gorgeous like Christian Dior gown, and she's got her Manolo Blahniks on, and she's doing her monologue, and in the back the two chicks are just lighting it up.
So I was saying sitcoms for a reason. I think we got to keep the Broad City girls in the sitcom land. I don't know what they would be doing in Sex and the City.
I want them in everything. I want an Easter egg in them. We are getting so off topic.
We are.
We love you, Broad City girls.
What if our next podcast is just like watching stuff set in New York City?
Guys, I have every kind of memorabilia. I have everything that's New York related that I can wear. I could New York theme every single week.
It would be so fun. We could like walk her. Anyway, Zoe Saldana.
Right.
She's in her salon,
She
Okay.
doesn't age. Sorry,
She's
another
gorgeous.
another
So pretty.
deviating from the
Does not age.
plot. She does not
Yeah,
age.
she wears her sunscreen, and she's in the
and she's
salon.
unproblematic.
Yeah,
as far as
well,
I know.
so far.
So far.
Hollywood, y'all be
We
be
need
stressing us out. Y'all be
We
stressing.
need a hurricane to come through Hollywood and just clean slate, you know?
So the white lady comes in that you saw in the trailer.
Okay.
And she's like, oh yeah, I'm being priced out of, my place in, I don't remember if she's in Brooklyn or Manhattan, but she's being priced out. And so he's like, oh, tell me. And they're like, she's like doing her nails. And the white woman says this is the best manicure she's ever gotten. It was not a very good manicure. Sorry, Zoe, it was not. But then we see, after she leaves, the white woman leaves, she's talking to one of the real estate guys, and because she's telling the white woman, oh, I'm about to get out of here, like, they gave me such a good price on the salon, and I said yes, or whatever, and she's really excited to move to the suburbs.
Yeah.
And then she gets, like, eaten by one of the vampires. So that's, like, the first scene.
Zoe Saldana does?
Zoe Saldana does. The white woman's gone.
Oh, she out?
Yeah, she out. So basically,
She
we're
just
like,
made, like, a little cameo?
Zoe, that's what, I'm like,
Zoe, were you...
did she direct this or produce this or something? Because why are we giving Zoe 5 minutes?
Were you... Did you need a little cameo? No, but she's been doing some great projects lately, so I don't think she does.
I don't know if it was like a favor. I don't know if she's friends with the person and they're like, hey, can you just like stop by?
Honestly, I love when big Hollywood stars just are in like 5 minutes of something random
that.
and they don't like steal the stage or anything.
love
Like
that.
they're just little popping.
You know
'cause
what
it's
else I
fun.
love?
That's like in Beetlejuice where Danny DeVito was just in it for like
Yeah.
5 seconds.
And I also love it when a show's not afraid to kill off a main character in like episode 3.
Let's go.
Which I'm not gonna spoil y'all because I don't want to say, but I want to say there is another adult vampire show that's not What We Do in the Shadows, and they kill off a main character in episode 3, and I was like, yes,
Yeah, please.
yes. Anyway, so
Game of Thrones, they did that.
just go ham, just do
Just
it,
do it.
because we're thinking they're safe because they're the main characters.
Just
so
leave
just
us
throw off.
completely gagged.
Let's do it.
Let's
Especially if your main character is kind of boring, because a
give
lot of
us
main characters are.
cliffhangers. Well, because you know what? The network executives are going to kill off the entire show, so you might as well go big or go home.
Go big. So then we go and we meet these boys, okay, and the boys are trying
How
to...
many are there?
There's
Like the main
3, because you know that a trio hits every
They do.
time.
Traveling threes.
It's like 4 is too crowded and 2 is not enough. Like, you gotta do 3.
Gotta do threes.
So there's 3 boys, and they are trying to save this bodega. And it's like, I think it's Tony's, and they love Tony. And
Tony.
Yo, Tony is so dope. I love Tony. We
You
love
know Tony. You know Tony makes good chopped cheese,
You know
bro.
he does.
Yo, Tony, get it with the bev.
And so
Give me the bacon, egg, and cheese.
is there still, y'all let us know, is there still like recalls going on at the delis in New York? We gotta figure that
We
out.
got it.
So
If I die by the hand of a chopped cheese,
is it worth it? Probably.
yes.
Especially at Tony's. So he is really cool. Like, we see that he's cool with the kids, and we get why the kids want to save it. And so there's going to be this big block party. And of course, that's foreshadowing. We're like, oh, it's all about to go down at this block party. So they run into the white woman that you saw in the trailer. And they're like, are you lost? And the white woman's like, why does everyone keep saying that? You know, she's like really cutesy and very much like, no, I'm just like, I moved here and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, well, you know, we're having a block party to save our local, you know, deli if you want to come. And she's like, oh, why don't you give me some flyers? I'll hand them around the neighborhood. And she seems like really helpful. So we're like, oh, cool. And they give her a bunch of flyers. And of course, we're like clocking. We're like, do we trust this white woman? Do we not trust this white woman?
She sounds like she runs an HOA.
It's very like,
She, yeah.
and even one of the boys is like 2 of the boys are like 5 and then, but one of the boys is like, I don't know about this woman.
I don't know about her.
So they go about their lives, and at one point the kid is like, there's like a lot of like stuff going on with this like grown adult, which again, like, leave kids alone. Like, what in the world? There's this grown adult, and they're doing nefarious things, especially with one of the boys. I'm so sorry, y'all, I forgot all their names, but one of the boys is like kind of getting roped up into like the bad life and all that stuff, and the other kids are trying to keep him from it, but it's not really working. And so at one point, this kid, one of the kids, not the kid who's getting involved with the bad stuff, but the other kid is like doing something. I don't know if he runs into someone. He does something really minuscule, and it pisses one of these grown adults off. And so the grown adult starts chasing this 14-year-old boy around, you know, the
Like
block.
kids be kids.
Like kids be kids, honestly. Like, chasing him, and they chase him to this like parking garage or something, and basically the kid witnesses that man die from a vampire. So he's like, oh, he goes, there are vampires in the Bronx. There's vampires in the Bronx.
Honestly, I like how he's just like right off the bat. He's like, you know what? I believe it.
Hey, we got a vampire situation. Yeah, right away.
Now, see, if that was Florida, we'd just be like, they'd be on the bath salts again. If that was Florida, we'd be like, vampires are real.
What is going on?
Obviously, that's just a Florida man.
Well, here's the thing. Like, the kid believes it, but a lot of the people in town are like, you need to let this vampire stuff go, right?
In town.
Like, this is
the Bronx. You're like, a lot of people in the quaint little town.
So the kid goes and talks to his friends. And one of the friends has been reading Salem's Lot, I think is what it's called. Oh. Yeah, I'm not very well versed on my vampire lore. He's reading Salem's Lot. And so he knows all about vampires. And so he starts telling him, like, here's the deal with the vampires. You can't do this. You got to do this, blah, blah, blah. And some things he tells them, like, they have to be invited in.
It's good to be prepared, yeah.
It's good to be prepared. So don't invite them in.
Yeah. Have you guys not seen Vampire Diaries?
Don't invite
them
in. Honestly, they seem so easy.
Also, stranger danger. Just don't invite anybody in.
They seem so easy. They can't come unless you invite them in. They can't go out in the daytime. They literally die from freaking, like, garlic and sunlight and holy water.
Well, the garlic's a myth.
Not in this movie.
Oh, not.
I mean, they don't die, but they're like hurt. But what will kill them is the freaking
hurts their tummy.
The holy water will kill them, and then the wood stakes.
Yeah, the wood stakes are true.
And they don't like the crucifix. So literally, guys, just plead the blood of Jesus. Just get in your Pentecostal bag. Okay, you encounter a vampire, get in your Pentecostal bag. Get your crucifix, get your holy water, get your holy oil.
You know what?
I've
got a better idea though. Take them down.
Wooden stakes. Now here's the thing.
She texted me and she said, "Do you have a bat and do you have a wooden bat?" Why would I have a wooden bat if I had a bat? Why would it be wooden? Like, I'm not in the 50s anymore. And then I texted her. I said, "I have a cricket bat," and she was like, "I don't want to know why, but it's gonna work."
Now, what you're going to want to do,
what you're going to
do, parents,
is a demo.
You're going to want to shave this and to a pointing type of thing.
And then be able to
and
just kind of
stab them. It's so, no, I'm not saying I'm inviting vampires to come after me, but all I'm saying, folks, it's not going to be hard to kill these things.
Vampires, if you're watching, don't come for us.
Don't come for us.
We ready.
Don't come for us. Anyway.
I know she looked like a little church girl, but she got muscles.
Listen, I live in Brooklyn.
She will take those pearls off and come get you.
And my Pentecostal runs deep. Okay. So these kids, I'm gonna fast forward, like, they're like learning about vampires, and their parents are so funny because their parents find out and they literally react the way I would react if I found out my kid was on some vampire-ish. They're like, "We going to church?"
Oh, no way.
The mom wasn't like, "You're going to church."
It's so funny because it's usually like, "Get your butt in the car," but here it'd be like, "Get your butt on the 6 train. You're going to church."
It's so funny. And
get on the train.
The kids know that the moms are doing that because the kid texts the other kid like, "You going to church tonight?" "Yep." So all these kids are at church, right? And there's this girl. Now I'm dressed as the girl.
Okay.
Now one of the kids has a crush on her, but she's 16. And he's like not, right? He's like 13, 14. And they're like, of course all the boys are like, "You can't get with her. She's 16, man. She's 16.
Let her be.
Like, leave her alone."
She needs to let him be.
And honestly, practical advice, boys. Thank you. Because, like, she is 16 and she does need to be leaving you alone. Okay. So, but she's a little church girl and she's dressed in like a white dress. Okay.
Okay.
And she's the only person who believes them. Because she's Haitian and she's like, I've been preparing.
These are the most well-prepared children of any movie. I always love when they leave it up to the kids.
Yeah.
But I am always loving it even more when the kids are so prepared.
And I love it because there's a reason. She's like, "I'm Haitian. I've been preparing for this since my grandmama have been preparing me for this." And the other kid's like, "I've been reading Salem a lot. Like, let's do this. Let's go." So they know about the holy oil. They know about, not the holy oil, sorry, the water. The holy water. Yeah. Also, I'm so sorry, y'all. I don't know what they call it. I think it might be a priest or a father or something. That guy, mean. He's mean.
Oh.
He's really mean to these boys. He acts like they're like...
That sounds about right.
Belligerent, like... Anyway, he's like... "I'm always keeping an eye on you," or whatever, but he's like really not. So they are able to sneak during the church service. They're able to sneak into the back where they keep the holy water. And what they do, there's this one kid.
What, is it just like in a Culligan jug or something? What do you mean? Like
they know where it is. Yeah, they know. They've been here before.
It's on tap.
They've done this. And so there's a couple Sprite bottles. Listen, Sprite, weird choice, because they have Dunkin' Donuts and then 2 liters of Sprite.
You know they gotta have that product placement.
That was product placement.
Obvious product placement is coming back.
I'm like, it's not
honestly,
coffee.
I'm here for it. I love the cheesiness.
So they have 2 liters of Sprite. So obviously we're gonna dump the Sprite out and we're gonna fill the Sprite 2 liters with the holy water. So they got prepared for that way. They are so prepared. They start making these kids. I was like, oh, smart. They start making water balloons out of the holy water. You know, filling them up and putting in their backpack. They got water balloons.
Do they even know where the vampires are? Like the vampires. It's not like they have a vendetta against these kids. Like why would they like?
They know where the vampires are. Well, they have a vendetta against the town because they're trying to gentrify the freaking Bronx. They're trying to take over the Bronx.
The vampires are?
Yes, because the vampires are this shady real estate company. I'm sorry, I thought that was like apparent. They're this shady real estate company. Either that or the shady real estate company hired them. Okay?
And they just like to eat rich white women?
No, they didn't. They didn't eat the rich white woman. They ate Zoe Saldana.
Oh.
The rich white woman left. Remember, she got her manicure and left.
Oh, true.
And then she ate Zoe Saldana, and they ate that other boy that was chasing the kid. Okay? And all these people, remember, have been disappearing. You know? So, basically, they're like, they know where they are. They found the nest, because the boy was like, we gotta find the nest. So they find the nest with all the coffins where all the vampires are. They tried taking a video of it, but of course, if you know anything about your vampire lore, like, they can't show up in video.
They don't, yeah.
So no one believes him except the Haitian girl, who's like, you know, in her white dress, like, let's go.
I've been waiting for this day.
So they have a plan to, like, fight off the vampires to save their town, basically.
Love.
Their town.
Their tiny town. Quaint tiny town.
And they have to do it by themselves because no one believes them, okay? Love. So they got their steaks, they got their holy water, they got their garlic, they got their crucifix, and this fight scene, pathetic. Not pathetic really because it's bad, but pathetic because vampires, you're so vulnerable. You're so vulnerable. You're saying all I have to do is hold a crucifix in front of your face and you melt. You're so vulnerable. I know
Wait, but the only thing that kills them though is a stake through the heart.
Yes, but they like are weakened.
Oh, they're weakened.
They're weakened by the holy water.
You could just do this and then
they're weakened by the. Honestly, I know Jesus has a lot of power. I get it, but like, that's how much darkness you have in you. You can't stand the light. You can't even go into the sun. You're pathetic. Anyway, this guy really had me thinking.
She really don't like vampires.
Vampires, you're pathetic.
Sure, they have superhuman speed. They can like crack your neck in 1 second before you even blinked. You know, if your name's Edward Cullen, you sparkle, but like she don't like you.
I don't fool with y'all. Y'all pathetic, okay? Anyway.
Honestly though, that's how I imagine the little like tweeny boys were thinking too. They were like, you guys are pathetic.
Pathetic. So they need some help. Like they killed a couple of the vampires, but they need some help. So the church girl goes off to the town to get the help. Now, they start to believe it.
Who's gonna help them? Nobody else believes them.
They do start to believe it because the white woman shows up to the house of the kid, one of the kids, and the mama opens the door, and of course she thinks that woman's really sweet, and she's like, oh, you have such a beautiful home, and blah, blah, blah. I was just, you know, your boys were getting in some trouble, so I was just taking them home, blah, blah, blah. And the boys start to see the holy water bubble, and that's a sign that there's a vampire nearby. So they see the holy water bubble. So she asks if she can come in, and the boys are like, Mama, don't let her in.
Don't let the white woman in. Don't let the white woman in. Don't let him in.
And the mama's like, y'all need to calm down. Again, like, calm down with the vampire crowd. Because like, she's a vampire. And mama's like, of course, like, oh my God, like, church didn't save them. I don't know what to do.
But see, slightly, I don't know what their house situation is, but like, how'd they get in that apartment building? How'd that white woman, who buzzed her in? Because they are the ones that need to pay for
the
this.
kids didn't know she was a vampire first. So I think the kids probably just like let her up or whatever. But then when the water started boiling, they were like, don't let her in. So what's going on now is this woman is stupid because vampires, what? And instead of just like being like, I don't know what they're talking about, like playing like that's so weird, she goes all vampire on them. She probably would have been invited in if you would have just kept your white girl facade for a little longer.
And now she can't come in.
And now you can't come in because now she knows you're a vampire because now you're getting your little teeth out, you're getting little red eyes out. Put those away. Anyway, so now she's like, we find out she's like the head honcho. She's like the head.
Always knew.
Yes. So she is the leader of all the vampires, and
I told you, she's the leader of an HOA.
Yes, ma'am. And she wants they stole a key or something. She just wants the freaking key back, and she's like losing her mind.
Key to what?
Yeah, I don't know. So the kid throws one of the little bit of the holy water at her, and she of course disappears because she can't handle Jesus, you know?
Not many people can, you know? I love that you're the one to cover this.
No, because I'm so, like, it's so funny because there's a familiar, and I'm not a vampire girly, so I didn't know. Familiars are people who want to become a vampire. So they basically, like, work for the vampires for a number of years in return of...
They turn them.
So, but like, they would never really do that, apparently, because according to What We Do in the Shadows and this movie, it's, like, very rare. That
according to Vampire Diaries, that's how you make more vampires.
Whatever. I don't know. So they're like...
Like and subscribe if you want Gabby to watch Vampire Diaries. As a side note, I've been rewatching it all this October.
I think it's gonna make me hate vampires even more, these pathetic monsters.
I think it would be hilarious. Or if you want her to sit and watch all of Twilight in one day, we will watch it all. We will, like...
I've only seen the first one.
Y'all gotta comment.
And I thought he was pathetic as well.
If you want...
What, are you 200 years old simping after the 17-year-old girl? Go away. Come on, Eddie. So the familiar of this, vampire real estate crew.
Yeah.
So he's also, first of all, why do you want to be a familiar? Why do you want to be a vampire? They're so pathetic. Your life is pathetic. You don't get to go out in the daylight. You have to be out at night. You have to suck people's blood. For what? For what do you get? Eternal life?
What happens if you don't look good in red?
Exactly. And the only thing, or black. And aren't you bored? Because all you wear is black. Anyway, the only thing that you get out of it, in my opinion, is that you get to live forever if no one kills you, which is easy to do.
I'm sorry. We're barely able to survive through one recession. You want to live through an eternity of recessions?
Who values their life that much? Anyway.
Can they control people's, like, minds, like, compel them, the vampires in this one?
They can kind of,
like, some of them
there's some
bend to their will.
Yeah, there's a little bit of, like, not bend to their will, but there's a little bit of, like, what's it called when you're, like
hypnotized.
There's a little hypnotism, but it's not to the point where, like, you lose sense of your body, yourself, or anything.
Because that would be the only other good thing is, like, being able to, like, compel someone to do something.
Yeah.
Because then you could, like, be rich forever.
Right.
At least,
but it's not really. They're not really.
But it's not.
But not really.
No.
In this movie. In the What We Do in the Shadow show, I guess you don't remember any of this.
You can do whatever you want.
Or whatever. Yeah. So, but anyway, I still think it's stupid. Don't be a vampire. Don't be a vampire.
Yeah. If somebody approaches
If you're a familiar listening to this right now, it's not worth it. And that's what the kid says. The kid says this. The kid goes up to the familiar and it's like, bro, so they turn you and what? You're still gonna... I don't know if I can say a bad word on this. For basically, you're still gonna be their bitch. And you're still gonna have to do what they say to ask you to do. And they're still gonna this and you're still gonna that. Like, for what? For what? And I was like, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you're still have to work for them for the rest of your freaking life. You get nothing out of this. What, you have some money? Like, for what?
What gets me is it's like they're grown adults that are begging to be vampires.
Yeah, it's
when
not
really
like...
you would think it'd be like the teen that just read Twilight.
Yeah.
Is like, I want to be a vampire.
These are grown men. This man was like in his 40s.
Did I ever tell you about when I was in middle school and some girl thought she was a vampire?
Oh, wow.
There was a girl in my middle school. This is when, like, Twilight was, like, coming out and popping and everything. And she straight up was like, oh, are you reading Twilight? I was like, yeah, it's really good. She goes, I can really relate to them. I was like, okay, how? And she was like, I'm one of them. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And so I thought she was joking. So I was like, yeah, I'm a vampire too. And she goes, oh my God, really? And then she got so into it. And I was like, I don't know how to get myself out. Because she and I was like, well, I'm too far down the rabbit hole. So I told her one day, I was like, oh, my birthday's coming up. It's a big birthday. She goes, why? And I was like, it was like my 13th birthday, I think, or something like that. And I was like, oh, because that's when I have to decide. She was like, what? And I was like, it like my soul or something like that decides for me if I stay a vampire or if I'm just a human. And then I won't remember any of this tomorrow, because I was done with her being like, we're vampires together, yada yada.
So you wanted to be human.
I wanted to be done with it, but I didn't. But I was also a people pleaser, and I didn't want to hurt her feelings, because this poor girl just needed help and therapy or some of her friends, because she straight up was like, I'm a vampire.
No, you'd be dead, because vampires can't be in the sun.
Exactly. So I was like, well, she did look a little.
Maybe she's one of those, like, half vampire.
She looked like she could honestly be a vampire. So I was like, so the next day I come in after my birthday and she goes, hi, how's it going? Yada yada. And I just look at her and I go, huh? And she's like,
you forgot
she
everything.
She started tearing up because I told her, I was like, I might forget everything. I don't know. We'll have to see. Because it was a year long of her just being like, we're vampire buddies. And I was like, I don't want
her
to...
How you doing, babe? Where are you at now? You live in New York?
Cassandra, how are you?
Want to go get chopped cheese in the Bronx?
She did theater later and it made sense.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
But no, don't be a vampire. It's not worth it. It's stupid. So, you know, then the town probably, I'm assuming the town believes it now because the mom was like, no, this is no joke. I saw her be a vampire and it was crazy.
So then do, like, the adults get on board? Are they back at church, like, having a huddle?
No, so now they're in the city of the Bronx. They're, like, at the, like, block party-ish place or something, but it's nighttime, of course, because the vampires can't come in, these stupid monsters. And
I mean, it gives them time to prepare. I like that.
Yeah.
Like, the humans?
Yeah.
Like,
so they go out, and now, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit disappointed by this fight scene, because I was expecting full Bronx, like, all at once, like,
yeah.
Well,
you don't like fight scenes anyway.
I like fight scenes anyway, but it was like one at a time. Like they wouldn't be in it. Like they were like lined up like this, and like one at a time they would like go try to fight the vampires.
That's because they're not Avengers, man. They don't want to ruin the infrastructure of the city. They don't want to be bringing down buildings, knocking out windows.
But if you would have all went at once, you probably would have done this. It would have been so fast.
True.
But instead, they're like going one at a time, and it's very impractical, and it's not really working.
Oh no.
And basically the white vampire, they're all white, but the white mom, the white woman vampire takes this dust, I guess, that if you put on the person and then you bite them, it turns them into a vampire or something.
Is she a fairy too? I
don't know.
Dust?
So this red dust is on him and he's like passed out and she's about to turn him, but then the main kid is like on his bicycle and he's like got one of the stakes and he goes "Rrr," and stabs her and she's dead.
Bet.
Because it's so easy. But yeah.
So what happens to all the other vampires once they're like out, like their leader dies?
Oh, I think they all die.
Oh, they get them all.
Yeah, I mean, it's
because you know how in some movies, once like the leader, the big bad guy leaves, they're all like scurry away.
No, I think they kill them all. I think they kill them all.
That.
I mean, they have the holy water. They have their wooden stakes.
They're clean sweep.
Yeah, it's because y'all are vulnerable. Y'all are vulnerable. So then, they have their little block party and everything's good. Oh, I forgot a big part. This is, I mean, heavy on the spoilers. Tony dies. The vampire does get Tony. The vampire does get Tony.
Can't get Tony.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen?
That was like
to the
really
bodega?
sad. I mean, they saved the bodega, but like Tony's not there anymore.
I imagine Tony being like kind of like an older guy, like kind of a beer gut, not quite grandpa.
Yeah,
but
he's like
40.
Yeah, he's like 40, and he's really
born
sweet.
and bred Bronx.
Yeah,
Aww.
he's really
a
sweet.
moment of silence for Tony.
He like showed them Blade or whatever that one movie is, and the mom got really mad because of course the kids are on their vampire-ish.
He's like uncle.
Yeah.
But he's not related in any way, shape, or form.
And the mom was like, you're never seeing Tony again, you know? And you'd think Tony would be like, hold on a second, I didn't do anything. But Tony's like, listen to your mama, okay? They know. And I'm like, he's a good guy. But he dies because the vampire gets him. Because the white girl gets him. You know? He wasn't prepared. He didn't know she was a vampire because she's on her white girl-ish.
But you know, that fueled the kids. They're like, we're going to get her.
The kids knew.
So then what happened to the bodega?
They save it.
Oh.
Yeah, they save it. Because they ran out all the real estate vampires.
Yeah, but who's gonna run the bodega?
Probably some adult.
But it ain't gonna be Tony's anymore.
It's not gonna be Tony. I mean, they did like a mural. They painted like a mural for him and stuff. And it's probably still called Tony's, but like someone else runs it. And so it was kind of a sad ending, but a happy. It's like bittersweet. But yeah, and then at the end, one of the girls is like, "Next time you vampires come, you know, like don't be messing with the Bronx." But yeah, it was really funny. I would say this is one of the funnier teen movies I've watched in a while. Like, I laughed a lot.
What is the gore level or like the graphic level of?
Okay.
Because you know when they have fight scenes, and obviously it's like you can go a little campier because it's a vampire,
right?
But like, what is it? Is it?
I would say there was nothing that made me go oof. You know, I would say it's really tame because like even when they like stab the wooden stick into them, they like just burn into flames. Like they burn, and they kind of just like disintegrate. So it's not even, you don't even really see blood.
Yeah.
So I would say it's not very scary in my opinion, and the gore is not that much.
Because the comedy really seems like
the
it
comedy's
helps offset.
The comedy's so funny, like because they're dressed really weird, and so like before the first or the second death, I guess, where the guy who was chasing the kid, one of the vampires was like walking toward him, and he looks really weird because he's dressed really weird and he's really pale, and the guy was like, "Hold up there, Hamilton." That was really funny.
That's so funny.
So I mean, just imagine like vampires actually being the Bronx. It was just very funny. And like I, as someone who like grew up in a religious like kind of town, like it is funny, the religious elements, and the moms be like, "We're taking you to church, it's too much."
Get on the train.
Yeah, it's really funny. And how easily they died or like were weakened by church stuff also was like making me laugh.
It sounds kind of like it's almost like a scary movie, you know, where it's like a spoof.
Yeah.
But it's still, like, funny horror bits.
Yeah. I would say if your kid wants to watch something, but you're like, you know...
You still want to keep Halloween safe. Like, you don't want them to have nightmares. Or, like, you don't want them to get into, like, weird horror genres.
Right. Like, if your kid
some of that stuff, like,
dark,
you know, like, Exorcist, even, like, The
much.
Shining and Psycho. Psycho's great because it's old school, but it's still kind of...
No, every time I take a
pretty
shower,
dark.
I think of Psycho, and I can't.
You know? But some kids really are drawn to, like, oh, I kind of like
drawn.
darker stuff.
Yeah, I would say if your kid is drawn to darker stuff, they might be a little disappointed with this movie because it's not that dark. It's honestly
but it's a good
really
intro.
Funny. But it is a good intro,
right?
If you're like,
because like you can't just let them go and watch like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, like the new ones that.
Oh, not the new ones. The old one is fine.
Old one's great because it's like she's like barely a witch, but then the newer ones are.
No, the new one I couldn't touch that. I couldn't even touch that.
Even I got a little like towards the end. I was like, what are.
Yeah.
This show needs to wrap up.
Yeah.
The first few seasons, I'm like, okay, I can roll. Same with Stranger Things. I'm like, I can roll the first couple seasons.
The second that kid was levitating and it was like, bones were doing weird stuff. I was like, what are we doing? Because again,
veered off the path.
Going back to my point, monster people and horror people are different people.
Different people.
So like when you started as a monster show and now you're veering into horror and now the monster people are like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
The horror people might be excited, but the monster people are like, what's this? So
this is more of a monster.
I feel like this is more of a monster movie. Like you're fighting the monsters. The vampires, I don't think are that scary. They're also very vulnerable and weak. And it's funny.
Yeah. But it's still a step up from like kiddie cartoon movie.
It is a step up.
It's a step up from like a Hocus Pocus, Halloween Town, you know, like your classic go-to kind of like kids or teen Halloween movies.
I haven't seen a lot of those movies.
They're pretty safe.
But I would assume so. I would assume it's a step up. And again, I think it's geared toward younger teens, but I definitely think older teens would also have a good time with it. Me and 2 other adults watched it and we're laughing throughout the whole movie.
I think the concept is hilarious.
It's funny.
And the title.
Yeah.
I was hooked. I was like, how come I haven't heard of this yet?
It's so, I mean, it was, I think it made it in like 2020.
Where'd you watch it at?
They made it in Netflix. And it was made in 2020. It's been out for a little bit. I was surprised I haven't heard of it either. But no, it's funny. I would say like, great family movie because like I think the adults would enjoy it, but also the kids would enjoy it. Honestly, even know your kid, but I think you could even dip a little younger too.
How about profanity?
I think they're the B word. I remember, and that's all I remember. That's all I remember is the B word. But I might be tripping on that, so maybe look that up, or maybe I can look it up and put it in the comments.
Sometimes if it's just like once or twice, it can really go over like younger kids' heads.
Yeah, I don't remember there being a lot of profanity, especially since we're in the Bronx. I don't remember there being a lot of profanity. I do remember a couple. There was a couple, but I don't think it was like heavy on it. The violence wasn't too much in my opinion. There's no sexual themes at all. Like the kid has a crush on the 16-year-old, but at one point he was like thought she was gonna go in and kiss him. She's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, this isn't that." And she's like, "No, sorry." And then she like leaves, and he's like chill with it. He's like, "Okay, it's not that," you know.
That's what I love about. I find a lot of monster movies. They don't have enough time.
We don't
have
romance. We don't have time. So there's really there's no romance. There's no like sexual themes. There's no what else would
you want to watch Falling in Love with a Vampire? There's plenty of shows on that.
Yeah, I would even say if you're like a church person and you're like, I don't want like horror stuff in my house, like I feel like this would even be safe for that because it's like you show them the crucifix and the vampires are like,
it's very campy on it. Like
it's like you can't. I don't know. I think, and it would bring up a good discussion too about like gentrification if you want to talk to your kid about that, or like just I don't know. Like there's a lot of, I mean, it's very on the nose with the metaphor. It's not very new. Yeah. Like it's not very like subtle, but it's for teens, so I don't think they have to be that subtle. But I think that it's fine. I had a good time. I'll watch it again. Nice. And I would say this is I would definitely put this on my list if you're looking for like a Halloween movie to watch with your kids.
Is it one you would make an annual Halloween rewatch, perhaps? I'm
not that big. It's hard for me to say.
Or if you had like people over.
I would probably. I would say maybe it wouldn't be annual for me. But I could say it would be fun to watch it with people who haven't seen it before. So I could say, like, if my friends come over, like, throwing it on. I don't think there's not a coziness vibe that I would, like, for a classic, something I would watch over and over. I want something that feels very cozy, which is probably why people watch Hocus Pocus a lot. I think there's that cozy vibe to it. Or for me with, like, Corpse Bride is, like, my, like, I watch it every year kind of movie. Tim Burton's not very cozy, but there's something about it that feels very nostalgic or something like that. And maybe that it just hasn't breathed enough to have nostalgia. You know, maybe I just don't know. Maybe it would be nostalgic for some kids. I don't know.
Now, all I'm saying is I realize now that you've explained it all why they had to kill Zoe Saldana off.
Oh.
Because if she stayed in that movie longer than 5 minutes, they would have been out. Their roll credits after 10-15 minutes with Zoe Saldana in it. All those vamps out. They would all be gone.
Out. honestly,
and probably a couple like just regular like serial killers that like people just thought they were vampires or something. Like she would have cleaned the city.
Oh, speaking of random stuff in the movie, this like confused me. There was a part, I don't even remember what was happening. Again, I don't remember there being a lot of violence.
Okay.
But there was a part where I guess there was some sort of fight. And someone goes, World Star. Are we still saying World Star? Kids, let me know. Are we still saying World Star? That's something we did in middle school. Do you remember that?
I don't know.
Is that an Atlanta thing?
Maybe it might.
Yo, I went to middle school in Atlanta. And anytime there was a fight.
There were probably vampires in your middle school for real.
And they're like, we ain't telling nobody.
We're not
stupid.
I'm not gonna kill them. That's not my business.
No, anytime people would have a fight, they would shout, World Star. Anyway, that happened. Oh, because there's a social media girl. There's a social media girl in the movie who goes around, and I guess maybe there was a fight on the street or something, and she just goes, World Star. I'm like,
that might be a callback.
Are we still saying World
like,
Star? Maybe.
Maybe the producers or something are from, or the directors are from
so
Atlanta.
Funny.
Well, they film a lot of things for Netflix out of Atlanta.
Okay,
so
maybe it's an Atlanta thing. Y'all let me know. I don't know.
That wasn't a Florida country thing.
What it is.
Ours were more like, get her ass. Like we weren't saying World Star when they were beating him up. We were just like, hook him right there, get him there, hold him down. Like,
but again, I don't remember there being a lot of fight or anything. I think it's safe for your kid. I mean, if you want to talk to kids, there is like something about like the kid who's going into like the bad like gangster kind of lifestyle, but it's very light on that.
Yeah.
Like you know what's happening, what's very implied.
Yeah.
They don't really see a lot of that activity, but you like kind of know what's going on.
But it just sounds like such a fun time.
Yeah, it's honestly
it sounds like something where if you had like some like tweens or teens over and they were having like a sleepover and they were like, we want to watch a Halloween movie, but mom and dad are like, we don't want them to watch like an R-rated.
Yeah.
You know, like it sounds like something like even like young boys could watch. And you're not letting them get into, like, super weird, gory zombie
Because here's the
stuff.
thing. Even when there's not a lot of adult content, it doesn't feel, like, condescending towards kids. You know, sometimes kids' movies are, like...
And that's very hard to do sometimes.
Yeah, it doesn't... And, like, it feels like the kids are real kids.
Yeah.
It feels like they're acting like real kids. Like, they're not trying to age up or down. Like, they're just acting like 14-year-old boys.
Yeah.
Which is, like, a fun... It's always a fun thing to watch, honestly. 3 14-year-old boys. It's just kind of fun. Like, on TV. It's just kind of fun. So, it's that kind of vibe, right? Where it's, like, this trio of boys who are, like one kid has, like, low blood sugar and he has to, like, carry around orange juice all the time. It's just funny. It's like
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Exactly.
They're just hanging out.
Exactly. And so they're I think the actors did a great job. They're really good at the acting thing. Zoe Saldana shined in her 5 minutes.
Except the nails. You need to
were
go back
so
to nail tech
good.
school.
I don't know.
Apparently.
I was like, this is the best vinegar you got, girl.
Okay, I kind of want to see it now. That looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'm trying to convince Gabby to just let me go all through Christmas just covering Vampire Diaries, just each season.
Listen,
the lore, the relationships.
I'm on my last thread with vampires. I'm on my last thread. Y'all some stupid monsters. I'm sorry.
That's the thing. We could just have like a fantasy football type thing with the brackets of like the worst, the weakest vampires. Like, I'm sorry, mine's not gotta be Edward Cullen. I don't trust anything that shimmers.
Yeah, no, he should be going into flames.
He was Bejeweled before Bejeweled was,
Also,
anyway,
never mind.
How did you say was a funny way to end it? What did they say at the end? Didn't you say they say something?
Yeah, they said like, in vampires, the next time you want to come into the city, you better not mess with the BX or whatever she calls it. I don't know if she calls it the BX.
We're not from New York to know.
We're transplants.
We're fake Bronxers.
We've been here a while, but like we were not born here, and we definitely weren't born in the Bronx.
No.
But
although I will say the Bronx has some of the best food. Some good soul foods. The best wings I've ever had were in the Bronx.
Yes.
I can't even remember where it was because my friend, he knew where it was. We dipped in, we dipped out. He was like, "We're coming for the wings and we're peacing out." And I was like, "All right." And they were the best wings I've ever eaten.
She's like, I feel like Manhattan people, like, they don't want to go into the other boroughs. They're like, why would I go there? Like, and then if you're like in another borough, you're always around everywhere. You're always like going around. Not Staten Island. Sorry, y'all. Not that. We don't mess with Staten Island vampires. What we do in the shadows, y'all can leave that in Staten Island. Okay. But yeah, next time, if you vampires want to come, you can try Brooklyn. Okay, but I'm in my Pentecostal
Don't come for the Bronx.
Don't come for the Bronx. Don't come for... Honestly, get out of New York.
Just
get out. You're not gonna make it.
Yeah. No. Go settle down in Nebraska or something.
That's not a unicorn. That's just a pony with pink hair.